Alright. I think I got it better now. I don't know. I got no idea. Anyway, as I was trying to say, I'm Eric Freshley. This is my first ever Twitch stream. I don't understand Twitch at all, but we're gonna try to make it happen. Now, this is a button that fucked me all up a second ago, but we're gonna try it again. I think I got it. There it is.
Are you into rock and roll?
That's the Reggie button, and the reason we have the Reggie button, well, I mean, do you need a reason for it? But we're watching the Nintendo E3 2004, which was Reggie's debut, and that's what we're doing, I guess. Now, it does not appear, actually, that this video is showing up. So that could be a problem. That could be a huge problem. Let's see if it's... Is that the reason why? No. Alright, that was a damn disaster. But, we got it now. We're streaming, we're recording. Reggie button still works.
Are you into rock and roll?
Yeah. So, that's all that's important. Here we actually go. This was kind of the transition period when E3 was just strictly a trade show, and it was kind of going towards more the public now. I can't even remember if this would have been streamed live or if we would have watched it later. I would have watched it on GameSpot in a window like this small. It was ridiculous, but that's what we had to do, and I had to download it for hours and hours and hours. Resident Evil 4 would have been the first, and this might have been the second right here, of the Capcom 6 or Capcom 7, the Fable series of games. 1,000 Year, Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door is well loved. There's a couple people actually here, surprisingly. Say in the chat if it sounds okay, if it looks okay. It seems okay on my end, but... So this is the first time we saw the man.
I'm about kicking ass, I'm about taking names, and we're about making games.
And that's the first thing he ever said, and that was kind of an infamous moment. They wanted to make a statement with them because this was kind of coming out of the Gamecube. I can't remember if this was before the Wii's launch or like in the first year of the Wii. Wait a second, this would have been Gamecube, wouldn't it? Yeah, not even the Wii. Yeah, because Metroid Prime was a Gamecube game. So they were kind of on their back foot. They were getting their ass kicked by Xbox, but especially PS2 was absolutely dominating. And so they were kind of trying to make a bold statement, coming out of the gate, showing their big dicks off. And that's why they had Reggie. And Metroid Prime. Because apparently this is very loud compared to my voice. Let me just make a slight adjustment. Alright, I lowered that just a bit. Did Metroid Prime 1 have multiplayer? That might have been 2, I guess. Right? There was 2 on the Wii. Dark Samus, that would have had to been 2. Yeah, so this is Metroid Prime 2. We also have those Capcom games I mentioned, Star Fox was there, but this was just a big, and they were trying to break out of the kiddie image with the big thing. So that's what GameCube, that's what Nintendo was known for, especially the GameCube era. And that's why they brought out Reggie, that's why they're leading with Metroid. Resident Evil's there.
We like games with big stars and big explosions.
Didn't really pay off for him. Not in this era, anyway. Because the GameCube... Look, I love the GameCube. I absolutely love it, but it's never became as successful as they wanted it to be. So this would have been Star Fox Assault, I believe. Yeah, I think that turned into Star Fox Assault. I don't even know if I didn't play it, so I don't know if that's like a beloved one. I mean,
and we like
the Star
games
Foxes have
so scary.
that beloved
they keep you up at night.
64. So yeah, so this would have been... Capcom signed a deal to make 6 or 7 exclusive games for Nintendo. They didn't all come out, and actually most of them didn't end up exclusive, including this one. The director of this said, like, there's no way this will ever end up on any other platform but Nintendo. It's Nintendo exclusive for as long as I live, and then it became PS2 a little while later, and now it's been on every platform that's ever been known to man. So that was a little bullshit. I'm not a Resident Evil guy, but boy, people love this one. Still to this day. Chat, which I believe is one person right now, everything sound better than it just did. Does it look alright? Seems like it on my end, but it's tough for me to tell. Because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Beautiful Joe would have been one of those, the Capcom 7. Killer 7, which I showed a minute ago, and they might be showing here again just now.
It is game time.
PN03,
a new day
I think it was
for
called.
me, and a new day for Nintendo. So let's get a couple things straight right off the bat. Part of my job is finding a way for you, the game experts, to have fun.
The game experts. See,
at the same
he's
time,
still talking to like the industry. He's still talking to journalists.
The hip, Nintendo isn't your only choice for gaming.
He's still talking to like kind of the representatives
maybe
from
what you've
GameStop
already
and
seen
Best Buy and stuff. He's not really talking to us.
Understand that we're serious.
They're just
about
transitioning into that.
What we do.
I mean, E3.
We
It's
also
just transitioning into
understand that we're not going to run our company just for hardcore gamers. There are gamers out there who aren't as knowledgeable.
That's why you'll
as
see
you.
like this part here is
Gamers
more like
who
a
aren't your age. Gamers who
business
don't have
strategy
your tastes.
than like
Gamers who live for Mario,
consumer
and Yoshi,
directed
and Pokemon.
Talk.
It's my job, it's Nintendo's job to make sure we satisfy
Chet.
all the gamers. And to
Underwater
do
Spy, I
it
should say.
better than our competition. We know that this is your third stop on the press tour over the last 24
And it was unusual for them to be
hours.
talking about
We know
Sony and
what you've seen and
Xbox
heard.
here at all.
So
which
let me
is what he's
draw a
doing.
comparison. One of our competitors is a manufacturer in Japan who wants to capture every one of your entertainment dollars, transporting
That's Sony.
all your
couldn't
content
figure that
between all your electronics devices on their memory sticks. We're not that company.
Yeah, they placed a lot of emphasis on their
And there's another
storage.
company out there who doesn't care what you do as long as you do it on their operating system.
That really wasn't fair considering they took Windows out of the Xbox, but I get the joke.
We're not that company either. Over the years, I know you've heard a lot of Nintendo people say, we're all about the game. Well, guess what? We are. Whether you're talking about Donkey Kong or Tetris, Madden or Mario, Metal Gear or Resident
Remember
Evil,
when they had Madden?
he with the best games
On Nintendo?
wins. Always been that way. It's
been a while for
always
that.
will. As this company moves forward, you're going to see more Nintendo games and different Nintendo games, and most importantly, new ways for you to relate to your games. But let me tell you one other thing. This is not a promise for what we're going to do sometime in the future. It's what we're doing right now. And if you don't realize that,
Chat says
listen
Reggie is a
closely.
long torso
While
man.
others
Sure.
are talking,
He's tall
Nintendo
as hell.
is acting. Let me ask you a question.
That was part of his thing. This was like
What company right now
He was
is
supposed to
driving
show
category sales?
aggression,
If you said
which
someone other than
Nintendo's
Nintendo,
never ever had.
you're wrong. We have momentum, have had it since late last year. And if you
This
don't
is
feel it yet,
Some
you
crazy
will.
spin here.
I'll promise you that.
Because he's mostly
Now,
talking about handheld sales.
I'd like you to welcome a guy who's been essential in building that
Which,
momentum.
yeah, sure. It's
George
true.
Harrison.
They were dominant and always have been, but... Of the Beatles?
Well, good morning. Reggie mentioned what's going on in the market right now, so let's take a look. This graph
You would
shows
never
the
ever...
industry
This was a
sales,
standard thing at
excluding
E3 back in
Nintendo,
this day,
over
but
the
you would never
last
see it
2
today. And it
quarters,
wasn't just Nintendo. Sony
compared
did
with
it,
the
Xbox
previous
did it.
period. Now, you
Because
don't need an MBA to
this
realize
was not
that
aimed
this
at
really
us. This
isn't
was
a
aimed.
pretty
They would
picture.
have representatives
A
from
full
Walmart and
half
Target and
year
everything go
of
to
negative
E3,
growth.
watch these,
Now,
and
let's
try
look
to
at what
determine
Nintendo's
how many to
done in
buy
the
for the
same
holiday
time
sales
period.
coming up in 6 months.
In the
Of
last
how many
3
games
months
and
of
consoles
last
to
year,
buy.
up a whopping
So there's a lot of this kind of
21%.
crap.
And in the first quarter of this year,
And that's just not
Despite
what
the fact that we're
E3
competing with our
was
own
just,
success,
I don't know, maybe 2 years
last
after
year
this. It
launching
was completely
Pokemon Ruby and
transformed into
Sapphire, Zelda
it was
Wind
live
Waker,
streamed and it was...
and even Game Boy
it was,
Advance SP, we're up another
They would never have any
7%.
kind of dull periods like this.
So without Nintendo, there would be no growth. On the console side, we see plenty of business yet to be done in this generation. And unlike one of our competitors, who appears anxious for this generation to end, we're intent on fully playing out our hand.
That'd be
how
Xbox.
we've
They tried
always
to
played the
transition
game
into 360
because it
ASAP.
works.
The original Xbox got its lace cut out for them.
Right now, industry growth is
by
being delivered by
Microsoft
Nintendo.
on
Only by
purpose.
Nintendo. And that's because we're focused on the here and now. Here's the up-to-date scorecard on the console business. Over the last year, Sony has sold through about 6 million machines. That's a decline of about 28% from the year before.
Now, come on.
Microsoft moved about 3.3 million machines. I'm sorry,
That's-
3.2 million machines,
a
essentially
little
flat with
disingenuous.
the previous year. During that same period, Nintendo sold through over 3.3 million units of Gamecube, a jump of 41%. And yes, that is good for second place. So when you run the software equation, you get a very similar answer. Nintendo Gamecube is more than holding its own. So far in 2004,
No, it didn't. And neither
we
did
sold more
Microsoft.
games
Sony
per
just
system
dominated
than
this
Microsoft.
generation.
And we're closing in on Sony.
But I mean, you know, that's what you
overall,
got at
the three
at-
systems
at this
combined
kind of
have
thing.
sold
Like,
about
that's why it
38
was really
million
such a
units in
waste
this
of time
generation.
to do all these PowerPoint things because
And we believe that the potential for
you were
this
getting it
generation is more than
spun
55
so much
million
from their
units. That means
perspective,
there are almost
which is
20 million
just not the
units
truth.
still to be sold. And you have to ask yourself, what will sell them? Well, This is the fourth system that Nintendo has introduced and managed to the back half of a console cycle. And we've learned that success here always relies on the same three things. First, we've all burned through the hardcore early adopters, the gamers who want the most extreme challenges. They want them to occupy them for weeks or days at a time. The late adopters want something else. They want pure entertainment.
It's just hilarious
Entertainment
from
that's easy to get into, and often
the
just for a quick
perspective of
burst
what
of
E3
time.
is today.
And second, they want familiarity. They want names and characters
Captain Falcon on the
from
bottom
past
left, you'll never
generations
see him again.
that they're comfortable with. And finally, and most importantly, they want value. They're hunting for bargains. Major play for minor pay. Now, any of these three factors can win the market share in the back half of a console cycle. But if you've got all three going for you, this is what you get. We dropped the Nintendo GameCube price in late September. After 30 days, sales were up 50% over the same period in the previous year. After 60 days, they were up 58%.
Yeah, well, you put your
And
console
counting through the
$100.
holidays, even though
That'll
we
do
had
it.
already begun to run out of inventory, we sold more than 73% more GameCubes than we did in the prior year.
And we
Now, this
saved
chart
money
does
by
two
making our
things.
discs itty-bitty.
First, it shows you why Nintendo is driving growth for the industry. And at the same time, it sets the bar for sales performance from our console competitors. Can those competitors grow 73% in their first 90 days after a price drop? Well, we'll see.
If it drops to $100,
More importantly, though, we
absolutely.
suspect it will be quite some time until someone can match our $99 price point. The value advantage in a value-conscious market clearly remains with Nintendo. Now next, we're fully deploying the familiar franchises
Underwater
that
Spy
are
asks,
so
what's on
popular
your
with the
shirt?
mass
Daredevil.
market. At the top of our briefing, we showed you three games designed to move the souls of even the most veteran
these
gamer.
Guns here, too.
And we're intent on expanding the GameCube's appeal. But we're not going to do it by ignoring the casual players who are just in it for a little bit of fun. On the show floor tomorrow, you'll see our market movers in action. A new Donkey Kong adventure, a new Pikmin,
Jungle Beat with the
a move for
bongos.
Advance Wars to GameCube, and Mario making 2 appearances.
Oh, wait, an Advance
in Mario
Wars
Party
game right
6
now.
and in Paper Mario. In
Paper
all,
Mario 2, they were
Nintendo's
calling it
GameCube
at that
library
time.
will grow to more
Essentially,
than
what's called the
400
1,000-year
games
door.
this year.
This is kind of the best
And the
Paper
common
Mario
factor
game.
among all of
Not
them
even kinda, it just
is
is the
fun.
best Paper Mario game. Really wish they put these GameCube games
Now,
on
new ways of
Switch.
interacting aren't just limited to GameCube.
Bastards.
Now, as you're all aware, Pokemon has again taken the market by storm
Yeah,
in
this
Japan,
is why
with the new Fire Red and
they
Leaf
were
Green editions.
bragging about the sales so
They
much,
sold
because the
through
Game Boy
nearly 2.5
Advance.
million copies in
Not
less
'cause
than
of GameCube,
15
really.
weeks.
I mean, the
But there's a
$100
brand new kind of
price
appeal
tag
here, too.
sold some units for sure.
The
but
ability to trade your Pokemon
Fire
with
Red
your
was the
friends
first one I'd
using the
played
Game Boy Advance
like since Gen
wireless
1. I went from
adapter.
Gen 1 and stopped
This
forever
opens
until
up
Fire
whole new
Red. Played some
horizons
of that.
for the
I think I still have
creators.
that over there.
And in fact, you'll soon be seeing and playing wirelessly with more than a dozen titles. It's great software and innovation like this
SP
that
was
have
a
pushed
much better
every
unit
competitor
than the
out of the
original
console
Game Boy
port, or
Advance.
sorry, out of
Couldn't
the
see a
portable
damn
game
thing
space.
on without a backlight.
And 9 serious competitors have made a run at Game Boy in the past 15 years. But 9 have failed.
Serious
Game Boy
competitors
doesn't
is
just
quite
lead
a
the
stretch
handheld
there.
gaming market, it owns it. The Game Boy franchise this year is also making a significant revolution because of this feature, Game Boy Advance Video. No new hardware or accessories needed to play back pre-recorded material from these small video packs.
This was a hell of a thing.
The first title
and not like, I don't
multiple
mean a good
episodes
thing. It
of
was just a
Pokemon
weird ass thing.
and others
to
on
put
one pack.
SpongeBob episodes on a Game Boy Advance
will it sell?
cartridge. And I don't even
Initial
think they could
orders
fit
are
a whole
already over
episode on
2
there.
million units.
If I remember right.
You can look forward to soon to material with a decidedly older
Like they
appeal.
could put 10
and
minutes.
will have
I
significantly larger
think
memory
if,
capacity
how that,
to allow
that's how that
even
worked.
more video playback. Well, wireless connection and video playback really widen Game Boy's appeal. But in an important sense, that appeal is already expanding. It may surprise you to learn that 1/3 of all Game Boy Advance SP users are over the age of 18. And our classic NES line coming in June will bump the age
That
appeal
was
even
a
higher.
damn cool looking Game Boy there with the
The new limited edition
classic
classic
Game Boy
NES
skin
hardware
there.
and 8 classic games for
Wish I had
$19.99
that.
are sure to be a hit with gamers over the age of 25. Now let me take a moment to talk about the newest competitor in the handheld game.
PSP?
There is no doubt in our minds that the PSP will have some initial appeal for exactly the demographic in this audience today. But in this election
games
year,
are coming to
let me put it this way.
PlayStation
By the
4
time
and
the
5 with,
PSP
their
gets on the ballot next
online
spring,
service.
more than 25 million Americans will have already voted for Game Boy Advance.
PSP did very well. PS Vita
Now,
did
if you're
not.
asking whether PSP can catch Game Boy
I didn't have a
Advance,
PSP. I do
maybe
have a
we should
Vita.
first ask,
I got it
can
fairly
the PS2
recently.
catch
Don't
Game
use
Boy
it, but I
Advance?
got it.
Since its launch in June of 2001, Game Boy Advance has sold more units than PlayStation 2 in America.
Game Boy Advance is a hell of a console. Or should they put those games on Switch too?
For that matter,
They
since its
are
launch,
blowing it right
the
now with
SP
their past
all by
games,
itself
but it kinda
has
does
done
that.
exactly
It's just
the same
annoying
thing.
as hell.
So we sit today with a roughly 100% market share of the handheld market. Will that decline? Well, it certainly can't go up. But that loyal base of 25 million Game Boy Advance owners is just the first of the many mountains that Sony has to climb. Game Boy Advance SP is built to be tossed in the backpack, carried in the briefcase, or even dropped in an airline terminal.
It was a sturdy
With
ass
no
little
internal
thing.
drive, it stands up to a lot of abuse. And when it turns on, it lasts. The lack of a moving media also
I don't
means that the
remember who I
gameplay
bought
powers
the
on.
SP. So I had the
We expect
original
our
unit.
battery life to
Didn't really use it much because you couldn't
significantly
see anything on it.
outpace,
I got an
Sony's.
SP late.
So
I know I bought it
we
off
think it's
someone.
enough
I
to be a
can't
deal
remember
breaker
who.
for really true game players.
Not that it matters to you
Finally,
guys. I'm just curious.
those of you who've been around our industry for a while realize that Game Boy, at heart, really is a platform like any other, built on the back of exclusive, must-have titles. Game Boy never would have built its initial audience without the appeal of Tetris and Super Mario Land. Never would have leapfrogged into the sales stratosphere without Pokemon. These are games that launched only on Game Boy. Sony, just like Nokia and others, have to find a killer application before they can truly appeal
Say
to the mass
Nokia?
market. So bottom line, Game Boy set an all-time record last year. We sold through more systems than any other year in our history. And now, with the wireless play and the video playback, suddenly that appeal is that much greater. In the end, though, it's still about the games. And this year, you'll see
Nokia.
Donkey Kong Country 2, F-Zero 2, The Legend of Zelda,
I don't
Mario
think that ended up
Advance,
being called
Mario
F-Zero
Party,
GP
and
Legend.
Mario Pinball, all
The Mario Pinball
coming
game
to
was
Game
terrible.
Boy Advance.
Minish Cap?
Together, there's a heavenly array of hits for both Game Boy Advance
Let me play it on
and
Switch,
Nintendo
bastards.
GameCube. The stars truly are coming out.
Yeah, so it's funny how many of these games got remade before launch, like this one. Not this one. Four Swords Adventure. This got remastered on 3DS, too. Jungle Beat use bongos. Hell of a thing. Advance Wars on console never really worked that well. It's also used for bongos. I think they're the only two games that use them. Geist! Geist, the inspiration for Mario Odyssey. Yeah, Mario Pinball, not good. Now you get it. That was a good game. Wish they made Mario Golf good again. There's a lot of DK games around this time. These games were neat. I want it. Just too excited about Game Boy Advance. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. I don't know if that was a good Kirby or not. I mean, it's just such a thing as a bad Kirby. Did Rainbow Six 3 come out on Gamecube? We gotta look that up. Because that seems crazy to me. Why would you play that game without online? Killer 7, this was part of the Capcom 7 that I was talking about. I have to know if that came out. Fighting Paddles, I remember that. I mean, I didn't play that, but I remember it coming out. Hey, of Reckoning, I played that. Oh, there's a Chris Benoit fighting. That's not so great.
Ready when you are.
It did come out on Gamecube. I thought that would have got canceled. That's crazy. And then the next one, kind of an expansion almost, was only on Xbox for consoles. That's crazy that they put Rainbow Six 3 on Gamecube without online. Why would you play that game? And I played the hell out of it on Xbox because it was online.
What we've talked about today are can't-miss products for Nintendo GameCube and Game Boy Advance.
Never thought I'd see Kirby in the
Games you'll
same
be
montage as
playing
Chris Benoit.
very
but
soon.
Here we are.
But there's something else in our future.
I know that a lot of the portable gamers that we have, and there's
It's the
millions of
DS.
I think the dual screen is going to be amazing.
Yep,
It's about
dual
changing
screens.
the way you play.
This was the
I think that the
tease
dual
of the
screens
DS.
are the next leap forward. It looks like
That's
it can be really
game
neat
crazy.
concept. It's
With the-
two screen systems,
the-
never
the,
been done before.
chain
Well, I
link
think everybody
fence in
else
the
is gonna have to catch
background.
up.
All my friends were talking about the dual screen coming out. I
Game
can't.
Crazy was a store
I can't
that
wait
was
to see it.
attached to Hollywood Video. I mean, it was owned by Hollywood Video, and they like would cut a third of their of Hollywood Videos out and make these Game Crazy stores there. And I would go in there when it first opened up. Every weekend they would have a tournament in a different game, and always give
Well, the wait is
winner
over.
$20 or
This
whatever it was.
is Nintendo DS.
But nobody else ever showed up ever. So I just went every weekend and like didn't even matter what the game. I won the tournament by being the only one to show up. So here's $20. Here's $20. Great. And then when Mario Kart
From the time we announced
Mario
its
Kart
code
on
name,
GameCube.
you've known these initials
the
to
one with two
represent the
people.
most obvious feature: dual screens.
Damn it.
But that's
where you
not
played as a duo.
what the initials
The winner of
stand
that
for
tournament,
to us.
which one of the
DS
person showed
has a
up
much
for.
larger
Hey, got the game
and
for
more
free.
relevant meaning.
So I got that game for free
DS.
from Game Crazy.
Developers system. In
Anyway,
creating
I didn't have a
DS,
DS either.
we've given
I
the
did have
world's
a
most
3DS.
talented game makers
Still have it.
new tools to
Bought it
work
for
with,
Fire Emblem Awakening.
new ways to express
And I
their
played a couple DS
imaginations.
games on 3DS.
And of course, in
DS
the end,
games were also
new
available
enjoyment
on Wii U,
for all
still
of
not
us.
available on Switch. Great.
The result is this. DS not only changes Nintendo, it changes our industry. You'll find Nintendo DS represents a brand new way for players to relate to their games and to each other. Listen to the experts.
Experts. Very excited about the experts.
Nintendo came down and presented the DS platform to us just about a month or so ago. I think everyone was in shock.
When I told the functions of DS to our creators, they were very excited and eager to work on new development. They really liked DS.
The introduction of Nitro, or the DS, is
Nitro.
going to
They're
allow
using
us to
code
take
names.
handheld gaming to to the next level.
Vivendi just
history of
dropping
the
code
platform
names
in
out
the
here.
last 10 years is that improvements were made on only certain functions. It has been a long time since the platform itself changed radically.
With the DS, I think they set the next standard
Majesco?
across the board for all kinds of things.
I can't see that logo.
Generates
Atari.
such a new way of playing games that is going to generate automatically more emotion, more excitement, and more fun for the player, which is basically what we are here for.
Things will totally change. We will think anew what we want to express.
You know, I want to
and what
make
kind
fun of all
things
this,
we
but
want
they're
players
kind of
to
right. The
enjoy
DS
using
was
this platform.
massive.
We're
Still is
expecting to change
massive.
the contents of the
I
game,
believe
how to
it's-
play the game, and how to make the
I
game.
believe it's the best-selling
The DS will
system of all time. I have to
continue its
double check
great
that. But
success,
Konami, they used to make games.
in the handheld gaming market.
It's very innovative technology that is clearly focused on immersing the consumer into the gaming experience.
No Chris Benoit on this one.
As a whole, the development community already understands what's going on here. I like to think of it like buying a car. Admit it.
What?
Your left brain looks at a vehicle in terms of the numbers. What's the horsepower, the towing capacity, the 0 to 60?
What?
That's our competitor's approach. But your right brain is different. There's only one question out there.
Oh boy.
Sitting behind the wheel, where will this baby take me? In other words, do you want to go just a little bit faster down the same streets you've always driven, or down a new road to places you've never seen before?
That's a real
That's
stretch.
the difference with Nintendo DS. Let me explain how this new journey is going to happen. Up to now, most of what the world knows about DS are those two screens. Today, it's my privilege to tell you the rest of the story. But let's start with the two screens. Each is programmable in 2D or 3D. The choice is up to the game designer. This opens a wealth of options for the developers, and they're totally excited about it. The 3D quality is simply beautiful. Most of you remember how you felt the first time you saw Super Mario 64 on Nintendo 64. It was a breakthrough that took the industry by storm.
Yeah, it was great because you could play it with a joystick,
but this
which
is
you can't do
Nintendo
on the
DS
DS,
action.
so it wasn't that great.
Playing on our new portable system, just as you'll see it on the show floor tomorrow.
Having 4 players is neat, though.
Isn't it exciting? Well, then Mario sees himself in Nintendo DS, and he feels like flying. Now, how exactly do these screens get used?
Oh boy.
Well, again, it's developer's choice. But for starters, one character can stand 2 panels high, or take 2 different perspectives
did that
of the
once.
same battle, or monitor constantly available
With
maps
new
and
Super
menus.
Mario Brothers.
Here's a brand new Metroid game playing on Nintendo DS.
That's
The
a weird one
same
to put
way
on a
you'll be
portable
playing
system,
it
too.
tomorrow. Targeting and shooting now moves beyond buttons. Just tap the screen where you want to fire.
You know,
Metroid's missions have
we should be
always
getting
been
a
nerve-wracking,
Metroid
but now
Prime 1
they're
remaster
non-stop. Because all of your
maybe
map
this year?
positioning and
Fingers
weapons
crossed?
changes are done on the fly. It's just awesome. But 2 screens are just the first of 2s that define DS. Let's move on to the next pair. 2 media bays. One accommodates DS software, easily holding games with 1 gigabit of data and well beyond. The other plays all of your favorite
Backwards
GBA
compatibility
games.
still a struggle for some companies, including Nintendo.
That's right. Backward compatibility means an instant library of over 500 titles. And it also welcomes a host of different accessories to enrich your game experience.
Like what?
Next, consider the most exciting 2 for game
There was that
players.
Guitar Hero on DS.
2
That was
incredible new forms of player control.
was
This is
DS,
where the
right?
connection to your game really changes. The first is touchscreen, responding to either a stylus or to your fingertip. It's transformative. Whether you're inputting data onto a software keyboard or actually changing the direction or viewpoint of your gameplay, it's truly unique. The combination of 2 screens and
does it mean when
touchscreen
somebody has a
stands
crown
to
rather than a name,
reinvent gameplay. You can only find this on Nintendo. You can only feel this on Nintendo. And besides touch, there's talk. The built-in microphone can be married to voice recognition programs. That means your voice and only your voice can control the play. Together, touch
really
and voice
was a
opens
thing.
vast new realms of game interaction. If you're looking for the future of gaming, look at the interface. Finally, my
That's a
favorite
nonsense
two,
statement.
dual wireless capability. The first is a proprietary application that allows up to 16 people to play and communicate together. The range extends up to 100 feet. Think about different seats in an office, a lecture hall, an airplane. Who says they can't all become connected playgrounds?
Nobody said that.
And with Nintendo DS,
That was not a statement
local
anybody
wireless takes on a whole new definition. Specifically, imagine instant chat and draw transmitted exactly like you created in your handwriting. Your little works of art will look the same way on other screens as they do on your own.
That was kind of a neat thing.
And
what's the name of
DS
that?
will even connect for you, springing to life from
Notes?
sleep
Some
mode
kind of notes?
once you're in range of someone else transmitting in group format. But what if your friend is more than a few feet away, say a few time
Don't know why
zones
they
away?
don't. See, some of the stuff like Street
No
Pass,
problem.
that was 3DS, but they just abandoned this stuff. Why don't they bring it forward to the Switch? It's kind of neat.
Wi-Fi means you can connect via the net. It's beyond online. It's no line. In all, this machine truly is transformative.
Nintendo
It changes
is
how
not
you
good at
connect to
online.
your games
They weren't then,
and
they
to
aren't
each
now.
other. There's no reason to take
Just
my
the way
word
it
for
is.
it. Instead, listen again to the developers who are already working on it. Their eyes are
It's a damn
fixed
shame.
firmly on the game horizon, mapping entirely
The
new
game
routes
horizon?
with Nintendo DS.
Guerrilla's making games for the DS. I think that calls for the Reggie button.
Are you into rock and roll?
We look at the Nintendo DS as the next generation in portable gaming. It's more advanced, fully 3D. The two screens allow for a new game mechanic.
I think the brighter display, and I think this new memory format is really going to set the
I can't see
standard
what
for
that logo
how
is.
handheld devices are going to be created in the future.
What I like best is the touch panels. The idea of just
We're gonna make a
touching is
Sonic
wonderful.
RPG for this thing.
It's the touch panels that make things easy. The games that took a very complicated operating system and input system may be more player-friendly by using touch panels. The function will enable us to try more interesting things.
And one of the
Nope,
most
nope.
exciting
It's
parts
gonna make
of
the
playing
same
video
Pokemon
games
game
is
over and
competing with
over.
your friends and your family, and to be able to compete with a live person is just ultimately the most exciting part of a product. The fact that a format like Nintendo DS supports that kind of multiplayer is tremendous because it really allows games to get to the next level.
We can use 4 screens when played by 2 players,
Ninja
maybe
Inafune.
even 6 screens, or 8 screens. The
Not a
number of
Capcom
screens
anymore.
increases rapidly, and
Right?
that kind of possibility of expansion makes us excited.
The developer opportunities are right now what's really driving a lot of creativity in the studios. How are we going to use the wireless? What can we do
Yeah,
with 2
Infinity is that
screens? What about the touch screen?
Platinum?
That's really focusing our game designers on trying to build games
Quite
in an
possible.
entirely new way.
Let's just say I'm right. No, actually, I need to look that up. That's going to drive me crazy.
What you've heard and what you've seen don't begin to tell the DS story. You can't start to appreciate it until you get your hands on one starting tomorrow. And even then, it's just a start. The benefits of DS will be
He's
rolling
the,
out for months and years following launch. And when will that launch come?
Yeah, he's the Mighty No. 9
We're
guy.
targeting release of
That's
Nintendo
right.
DS in both Japan and America this year.
Did they hit that? When did this come out?
And Europe and Australia in the first quarter of next year. It will come to the market. It will come to the market with a new name and at an affordable price. On the show floor
No,
tomorrow,
it had that name.
you'll see a wide range of demonstrations.
And yeah, they did
Many
hit
of them,
2004.
in fact, will become retail software.
They did it, yay.
The
But
change
not a new name,
that
that was
DS
bullshit.
represents, and indeed all of the new Nintendo, is happening under the leadership of our worldwide president, Mrs. Satoru Iwata. Please join me in welcoming
Rest
him.
in peace. Now we're just gonna get sad. Which makes sense because my eye won't stop watering.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have his book and I need to read it still.
Nintendo was proud when we introduced the plus key switch with the NES instead of arcade joysticks. Proud of two-player gaming with the NES and four-player gaming on Nintendo 64. Proud of that analog joystick and the Rumble Pack and True 3D. We are proud we established portable gaming with Game Boy. All these advances are now industry standards, all make us proud. But I think we are most proud of this.
I mean, Reggie showed it already. It's not like you're doing a big debut here.
All of those innovations changed games, and so will Nintendo DS.
Blocky. Compared to like
DS
the 3DS
is not
kind
simply
of
new.
streamlined a little bit.
It's not just
streamlined,
more
but like
functions
sleeker.
or higher specs. It is different. Of course, Nintendo DS is not
gonna
the
hide
only
that.
change
Never to be seen
in
again.
our future.
You can't have it.
That same word, different, also defines our approach for our next home system. It won't simply be new. It won't simply
already
include
talking about
new
the Wii here?
technologies. Better technology is good, but technology is not enough. Today's consoles already offer fairly photorealistic expressions. Simply beefing up those graphics will not let most of us see a difference. So what should a new machine do? For both game creators and game players, new machine needs to do much more. They must offer an unprecedented play experience, something no other machine has delivered.
They didn't
before.
say the name yet. At this point, they were
The
still calling it
definition
the Revolution.
of a new machine must be different. I want you to know that Nintendo is working on our next system, and that system will create a gaming revolution.
Yep, there it is.
Internal game development
Don't
is
think they
underway.
even talk about the motion controls.
When the impact of the new
time we
home
got
machine
after this?
comes,
Oh, we're
our
near the end,
revolution
man. They
will
didn't
be
like
there.
go in depth on any of the games.
I suppose I could give you a list of our technical specs. I believe you'd like that, but I won't for a simple reason. They really don't matter.
Also, you're going to be the least powerful of that generation. That's why. You're going to be the only one that doesn't have an HD console. That's why you're not going to go into the technical
when
specs.
horsepower alone made an important difference is over. From this time on, we must create something more unprecedented experiences, the same way we have with Nintendo DS. So let me repeat. Work on Revolution is well underway. When you see it, you will be excited because you will experience a gaming revolution. And with Nintendo DS, video games will be changed. This week, I invite you to enjoy the great new experiences we are creating for Nintendo Gamecube and Nintendo Game Boy Advance, and of course, the wonderful new Nintendo DS. Thank you very much.
That's not the close, is it? No way. I mean,
Thank you, Mr. Iwata.
No.
I hope you've all enjoyed our program this morning. But
I think
before
they
you
closed the
leave,
Twilight Princess.
I'd like you to step inside one more world
there it is.
for Nintendo GameCube.
Because this was a launch game on the Wii, but also came out on GameCube. Actually, the GameCube version was the way to play it. Although I would contend this wasn't a great Zelda game. But this made good on the that Space World video, where it had the mature Link, and then everybody was pissed off that the next Zelda after that was Wind Waker, which was not the mature Link, even though it was a way better game. Oh yeah, this guy.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Forgot about him.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shigeru Miyamoto.
So they kind of, after Wind Waker came out and everybody was furious about how it looked, they had to make good on that original video and make gritty and matured Zelda, which was not a good
I'm
idea.
not Link, but I do know him. Even after 18 years, the Legend of Zelda never stops changing. And this game is no different. We are now taking you to a world where Link has grown up, a world where he will act different. And
He turns
look
into
different.
a goddamn wolf. I guess
In
they
order
hadn't
to
revealed
grow,
that yet at this
Link
point.
must not stand still. And neither can I. So, thank you. And goodbye.
Alright, well, they didn't even say the name yet. But yeah, it's Twilight Princess. It's almost noon already. That's a problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've spent my entire career marketing products to teens and 20-somethings. And I learned a
You
long
worked for
time ago,
Guinness.
there's no BSing
Well, I
that
guess
audience.
20-somethings, but not
They want
teens.
great product and they want great value. They want cutting edge
Worked for
and they
Pizza
want
Hut
legendary.
and Derby
they
Cycle
want
and
the
Guinness.
best of
And
the
VH1.
past,
VH1's not
and
for
they
teens,
demand
20-somethings.
what's absolutely right now. Nintendo is delivering all of that. Zelda, Capcom's Resident Evil, Pokemon, Mario, and Nintendo DS all boost the momentum we're carrying into this E3 through the rest of this year and well beyond. We're giving players what they want for both GameCube and Game Boy Advance, and they're rewarding us with more market share. Funny how that works. As you've seen, Nintendo DS
Didn't work
is
out
not
for you
standing
guys
still.
this gen.
As a
Good for the Wii.
10th serious competitor
That's for damn
decides
sure.
to make a run at Game Boy, DS raises the bar on portable gaming before they even get started. Nintendo DS is a third way to play. It defines its own category. It reinvents portable entertainment, and so will Nintendo's revolution. I hope if we've done anything, it's to show you that this is a new day for Nintendo. We remain all about the game, all about the
That
gamer,
came later with
or
the
in other
Wii.
words, all about you. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Is this the same montage? I think it is, the one that started with. Geist. diss worth making smaller. Game to win. All right. So like I said, it's weird. Well, I guess it's not. I was thinking they didn't really go in depth on like any of the games, but I guess like I said, because this wasn't aimed at us and everybody who was there got to, the next 3 days they got to go to E3 and actually go hands-on with the games. So then, you know, the people at IGN and GameSpot at the time, GameSpot, yeah. And the magazines were still big then. EGM and GamePro and everything, they could play them and then report back to us. And I guess they didn't really need to show them to us yet because most people, very few people were able to watch this at the time, unless you were there live. Very few people were able to stream it. Well, there was no streaming, but able to watch it later. Just crazy-ass people like me would do that. So, as a time capsule, it's disappointing that you don't get to see that stuff, but at the time it made sense. Still, though, damn. I would have liked to have I want to see how they would have tried to sell me on Geist. I want to see how they would try to sell me on Advance Wars on console. Or Mario Pinball. I don't care about the good games. I don't need to... I know how they're going to try to sell me on Metroid Prime. Say, hey, it's cool. Here it is. But I want to see the shit games. How they would have tried to present those. I wonder if you can find those videos out there from the show floor. Like what the floor representatives would have told you. Anyway, that was my first Twitch stream. I don't know. I would like to do more old shows. I would like to do the Wii U E3. Reveal that. I'd like to do some Xbox stuff. I'd like to do them all. We could see Mr. Caffeine. We could do that one. If you're interested in that kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe I'll learn something about Twitch. Maybe I'll learn what a gift sub is. Maybe I'll learn what a bit is. But probably not. I'm pretty dumb. Here's the Reggie button again.
Are you into rock and roll?
I feel like we needed that. I can't hear it, by the way. I could probably set that up so that it plays for me too. But that's for you guys. You enjoy the Reggie button. Enjoy it again.
Are you into rock and roll?
All right. I'm done. Goodbye.